All right, inverse matrices. We did this yesterday. You just pretty much follow the formula. Remember, one goes on top automatically, right? How do we figure out what goes on the bottom, Harlan? You remember?
No, I don't.
Cross multiply. So you got to go left to right first this way. 3 times 2 is 6. Coming back, you got to flip your sign. So that'd be positive 4, right? 6 plus 4 is 10. That should go on the bottom of your fraction. Just did this yesterday. All right, Harlan, do you remember how we rearranged the numbers? For example, on this diagonal, what do we do?
You just flip.
You flip them. Put 2 here, 3 here. All right, on the other diagonal, what do we do?
You flip and.
No, you don't flip them. You leave them in their spots, but
flip
you
the
change
sign.
the sign. So that becomes positive 4, that becomes negative 1. All right, what is the last step? Just distribute. All right, so 2 times 1 over 10 is 1/5. Negative 1/10. 2/5. 3 over 10. All right, so that's pretty easy. Let's give y'all a chance to do the second one the same way. All right, so we cross multiply. So I got negative 12. So minus 20, I change the sign, make it plus 20. So my fraction should be 1 over 8. All right, Matthew, explain to me, how do I rearrange my numbers on number 2? What about this first diagonal? Swap them. Negative 3 here, 4 there. What about the second diagonal? Good. So positive 4 there, negative 5 there. Now take your calculator and distribute 1/8 to each number. You'll get negative 3 over 8. Negative 5 over 8. 4 over 8 is 1/2, and you write that one twice. Are having a problem on number 3, right? 4 times 9 is 36, and I got a minus 36. I got 0 on the bottom. Can't have 0 on the bottom, Matthew. What's our answer when you get 0 from your cross multiplication? D-N-E does not exist. You get 0, you can't do it. I'll give you one like that on the test. That makes them really easy. All right, go to 4. Let's check 4. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 5. I got 11 on the bottom. That looks kind of yucky. I think that's right. All right, flip these two numbers on your first diagonal. You just flip the sign on these two. That'd be positive 1 and negative 5. All right, now distribute and let's see what you get. All right, so what we do, if it's got a number in front like the x, you're going to distribute to everything. So basically what we have is 2 times x, 2x equals 12. Yeah, we did this like the first day we started doing these matrices. What's my answer for x? X equals 6. So we got the answer for x. The instructions above these say to solve for the variables. All right, so once you find out what x, y, and z are, you can stop. Matthew, question.
You got 2x. What do you do
2 times x equals 12.
So why did you
Divide by 2, you answer 6.
Yes. Well, what you do with the y?
Harlan, we hadn't even started on that yet. Look, you're going to match up this spot right here with this spot right here. Now let's do the y, Matthew. X times y is xy equal to negative 24. Write that down. Now, how can I work that out where I can get an answer? Well, look, don't we know that 6 equals x? So really, that's 6y equals negative 24, correct? So what's that answer going to be? Y equals negative 4. Harlan? Good. Matthew?
Not really.
All right, watch this, Matthew. Now we're going to do x times 7 is 7x, and it's going to equal that spot. Look, the bottom left equals bottom left. So 7x equals 42. You divide x equals 6. Well, look, we already knew x was going to equal 6 anyway. You could have really skipped that. All right, last Matthew, we're going to take that spot and set it equal to that spot. So 2 times x equals z. 2x equals z. How can I get an answer for that? We already know that x equals 6, right? Plug 6 in there. 2 times 6, 12 equals z. So you got to find an answer for x, y, and z. That's how you do number 1 and number 2. Distribute everything in the first one by 2. So 2 times 4 gives me an 8. 2 times -1 gives me -2. 2 times 3 is -6. 2 times 8 is 16. Still leave it in a box. Does everybody see what I did to start now? Just distribute 2. What do I distribute for the next one? 3. All right, let's do that. So you get -6, 27, 0, and -21. All right, there's one more step on this one. How do y'all think we find our final answer? It says add them up, guys. Just add them up. So Matthew, how do you know which ones you can add together? Top left, add with top left. You got 2 for the top left spot. Top left element. All right, finish it up. Distribute 1/2. All right, so that gives me 2, 5, 4, and 0. All right, we're good on the first one, right? What do I times by when I do the second one? Okay, if you times by -2/3, then that turns into a plus because you're using the negative sign. So -2/3 times 9, just type it in. -2/3 times 9 equals. That becomes a -6 in that spot. So if you multiply by just +2/3, you would leave the minus in between. But if you times by negative, you got to change that to a plus. All right, I got 0 there. 27 times -2/3. I got -18, and I got -2. So how do we finish it up? Just add them to get your answer. Y'all can do that. Shouldn't have any trouble. All right, we go to 6. All right, so this is our first multiplying problem. We got to figure out if we can in fact multiply these. So how would we label this one?
2 by 3.
3 rows, 2 columns. It's a 3 by 2. The other one's a 2 by 3. All right, so Matthew, can I multiply these together? How do you know? Good, the middles are the same, so we can multiply it. How big is my answer going to be? So I'm going to go, if these in the middle are the same, you can do it. If those are not the same, you're right, it does not exist, and go to the next one. And your answer, Harlan, is going to be a 3 by 3.
So you go column to rows.
You do rows by column. All right, the row has to match the column in the middle. Harlan, you might not have saw this. This might have been on some of the 4 days you stayed at the house. But you know you're going to fail if you don't come to school.
I'll pass it. Maybe.
All right, so question before I get started. All right, Harlan's never seen this. He's about to freak out. Everybody else should be fine. Harlan, you got to multiply across this way and down this way. All right, it goes like this, Harlan. So I times these two right here, I get -8. And when I move, Harlan, I move this way. Times those two, I get -4. Add them up, that gives me -12 for that spot.
So you just multiply that.
We did this for like 2 days. So that's how you get the top row left column by multiplying the top row in the left column. All right. Next, Harlan, I'm going to stay up top here, and I'm just going to move over and do the next column, okay? 2 times 3 is 6. When you move, Harlan, move this way. 4 times 6 is 24. Add them up. This is 30 for that element.
What?
I'm multiplying across and down.
Yeah.
2 times 3. That's the first number and that's the top number. You multiply them and get 6. And when you move, move this way. 4 times 6 is 24. All right, we're going to keep doing the same thing, Harlan. I'm going to move down now and do the next column. All right, here we go. Always start at the top. Some kids were starting at the bottom and trying to get, you don't do that. You start at the top and you go down. 2 times 7 is 14. And when you move, move this way. 4 times 8 is 32. Add them up, that's 46. All right, Harlan, you got a question? We'll go to the next one. All right, that's basically it. Now look, we just did the top row and we got all the answers for the top row. Now go to the second row and that will give us all the answers for the second row. So I start here and I start back up top. -1 times 4, not times -4, is 4. When I move, move this way. 4 minus 3 is 1. Now, this happens to be the longest one. Most of surely I wouldn't give you but one 3 by 3, because this one's kind of, it takes some time. Most of them are short. Harlan, you going to try to get the next number by yourself? 15, let's check it. -3 plus 18. All right, he's got it. That's 15. You got the next number? -7 plus 24 is 17. Try to get the last row.
I think I got it.
Try to get the last one's good on this one, and he knows how to multiply. All right, anybody got a question? We good? All right, let's keep going. Let's go to the next one.
You said it.
What's that?
Rows.
Rows by columns. So 7's going to be a short one, Harlan. This is how most of them are going to be. So look, if you had to label this one, Harlan, you do rows first, then count the columns. 1 row, 2 columns, a 1 by 2. The next one, a 2 by 1. So can you multiply it? How big will the answer be? A 1 by 1. Just flipped up. So it's just going to be one number. One number. A 1 by 1 is one number. So times these two, -27. Times these two, I get 6. My one number is -21. Done with 7. Go to 8.
You said -3 times 8.
Remember, you move like this. So I times these two, and I times these two, and I add them up.
What happens if they don't?
All right, Harlan's already figured out the next one. Harlan, what size is the first one?
2 by 3.
Size is the second one.
2 by 2.
Harlan, what's the problem? The middle numbers, you know, this column and this row has to be the same. And here's the reason, Harlan. I times these two, I times these two. Look, I don't have anything down here to times these two. So it does not exist. Can't do it. Should be positive 60. Let me check that one. -12 plus 72 is positive 60. Thank you. Is that it? All right, so I am worried about you guys missing something on 6 through 9. Harlan's got it after 10 minutes. Everybody should be good. He's a genius over here. All right, everybody flip over. Let's go to number 10. Now, this is set up, 10 through 16 is set up a little differently from how we've done it before. Still a piece of cake. Harlan, have you seen us do any like number 10? Determinant A. So what you do, you just bring down A. So Harlan, I brought it down from the top. If you look up at the top of your page, it's right there. It says A. Now, how on this problem right here, how do you find the determinant? What do you do? That's just when you cross multiply. That's all it is. How do I cross multiply? You got to go this way first. That gives me 8. Come back this way, you got to flip your sign. So -8 turns into +8. Add them up, you get 16.
Do we have to show our work?
Last time.
That's it. So y'all do 11 the same way. We still got to do our cross multiplying, but the best way to do these so we don't miss anything, rewrite the first and second columns. Okay, you've seen us do these? All right. Rewrite the first and second column outside the matrix. Now we'll do our cross multiplying. Go ahead, Harlan.
I don't know if I'm any good at it, but I remember it.
Most people get these right. This isn't something that's normally missed. All right, so now all we do is cross multiply. So I got to times these three, and these three. All right, so negative 64 is how I start off, plus 0. And then I'm going to need some help. 30 times 5 is 150. Is that correct? Okay. Now, Harlan, there's something special we got to do when we go backwards. What is it? You got to flip your sign on all three of these. So, if you look at the first diagonal, that's negative 24. I'm going to write positive 24. Second diagonal is 0. Third diagonal, negative 40. I write positive 40. All right, add them up. Somebody add those up for me. Tell me what you get. What y'all got? All right, Audrey says 150. So everybody should be good on 13. All right, 14 and 16 are really short and quick. 15 is kind of long. So let's do 14. What do y'all think we do first on 14 when you see it set up the way it is? What needs to go on top, guys, if it says 2 times determinant A? I'm going to times everything in here by 2 and rewrite it.
Why can't you just times the answer by 2?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That might work, it might not. I don't know if that works. Why don't you do it that way? I do it this way and we'll see if we can get the same
That way
thing.
we all
Okay.
get confused.
Okay? So, negative 16, negative 4, 8, and negative 2. I mean, if that way works, great. All right, so multiplied everything on top by 2. Bring the bottom one down just like it is. Negative 8, negative 2, 4, negative 1. Question.
On Monday?
What?
Did y'all do this Monday?
We haven't done this, Matthew. This is brand new.
We have.
Those-
And you're
Is
doing
this
this
gonna be
on
on
the
the
test?
test?
Yes. The
What's
test
wrong?
looks like this
Come
sheet,
on.
guys, I'm telling you. So, nothing hard here so far, Matthew. I just timed all the numbers by 2 and wrote them up top. Now, they want us to do the cross multiplying now. Anytime you see this word, it means do the cross multiplying. So what do I get on the top? Let's check. 32. That's negative 32. I flip my sign. My top is 64.
And you did what?
Do this. I did my cross multiplying.
Oh, okay, I see.
Y'all act like we never do this.
And your bottom is 16.
All right, Kaylin says the bottom 16. Divided out, I got 4. Is that the same thing you got doing it your way?
No.
Then do it Coach Aaron's way. Now, guys, that problem is not that long. It's not that hard. That's pretty easy. Didn't.
Bathroom break, coach?
All right, Matthew, look at 16. It says A minus B first. So, let's look at A and B. Let's subtract them, and let's get us a new matrix. So, here's your A and B at the top of the page. Negative 8 minus 0 is negative 8. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. Negative 1 minus 12 is negative 13. Does everyone understand how we got a new matrix?
Just subtract.
Yeah, so now the last thing we have to do is cross multiply. This one was a piece of cake. 8 times 13. I got 104 minus 16. My answer is 88. So the only one I'm really concerned about y'all messing up on that section is 15. The rest of them are pretty short.
How many points is each question?
Well, if you look at the back,
One.
we are not going to get to 25 through 28. We don't have time to do Kramer's rule. Third block is, so y'all won't have any of that. So it'll be 24 problems. It'll be 4.6.
So I would make a 96 if I just skip.
Yeah, if you
15.
skip one, it's just 4 points. All right, 17. All right, Harlan, have you seen us do these triangles?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it.
All right, so I will give you the formula if I need to. Here's the formula.
I'm gonna need
All right, just remember, ones are down the right column. What does all this crap here mean? This A, B, C, D, and E, and F. You just plug in your points. So Harlan, look at our graph on 17. Pick one of the points for me.
-2.
Harlan said -2 up 1. All right, we'll put that one up top. It doesn't matter where you put them. Pick us another point.
4-2.
Over 4 up 2. Last point is over 1 up 5. All right, so what you're going to want to do, what you're going to want to do is save the 1/2 for the last step
We just do it.
and do what you've been doing. Just at the very end, times by 1/2. This new, you got a -32 over there, and you got x's in here. So let's do this one together. Harlan, what do I get when I times these three right here?
Oh no.
X squared.
X squared. X times x is x squared, right? Then what? Anybody?
I'm not looking.
Just doing our diagonals.
No, that ain't it.
-24. Then what? Plus 4. All right, we're good there, right? Now let's come back the other way. Don't forget you got to flip your sign. So, -4 becomes +4. -4x becomes +4x. -6x becomes +6x. Now, what's got to happen with -32? We're going to move it over here, make it +32 equals 0. Okay, so we got everything on one side. Why did we want to put everything on one side? All right, Matthew, look at your first number in the problem, x squared. Anytime you got an x squared, you're going to have to do quadratic formula. And the only way we can do that is when you get everything on one side and add them up. So we get x squared. What else? 4x plus 6x. Is that it? 10x. Now look, I got 1, 2, 3. Y'all got to add up those four numbers for me.
16.
Kaylin says 16.
Do you have to flip?
The only thing we had to flip was the -32. Moved it over, made it a positive. Yeah, at the end you'd have to flip. So we can either factor this or we can do quadratic formula.
That one would factor.
This will factor very easy, but you guys are normally so good at quadratic formula. All right, x times x. What can you multiply that gives you 16 that adds up to 10 is 8 and 2. Now what Harlan was asking, that's really x plus 8 equals 0. So when you move it over, that's a -8, that's a -2. If you would have done quadratic formula, you would have gotten the same exact thing. All right, I will let you do 20 by yourself in a few minutes. And I think on 20, you're going to have to do quadratic formula. All right, let's flip it over. All right, 21, 22, and 23 say to find the inverse. We just did this. Let's quickly do this one. What goes on the bottom of the fraction? How do you find that out? How'd you get 1? Cross multiply, good.